Good morning, I'm Dr. Huang. Today, I'm going to show you an experiment, how to determine the enthalpy of vaporization and the entropy of vaporization and Gibbs energy of vaporization for acetone at its boiling point. This is what we need for this experiment. In this experiment, we will use the LabQuest device from Vernier company to record the temperature readings. And from your tree, you should find a temperature probe. The first thing you need to do is you find an empty slot in your LabQuest device and then plug it in. After you plug in the temperature probe, you will see a temperature reading. Before we start the data collection, we have to set up the total time we want to collect data and how often we need to collect the data. If you use your finger to touch this part, our data acquisition will be time-based, so we do not need to change the first one. And the total data collection should last about, let's say, 40 minutes. So we change the unit to minutes. And then we need to change the time to 40 minutes. Then you click Done. We want to collect 1 sample per second, which will be 60 samples per minute. So let's click here. And then we change the number to 60. And then you click OK. Now this is ready for data collection. But I want to emphasize, our data collection may not last 40 minutes. But if you set up 40 minutes, you can stop before it reaches 40 minutes. So this will be fine. Before we start to handle chemicals, let me put on my goggles. Also, I want to wear gloves, so my hands are protected properly. Let's take about 10 grams of acetone into this beaker. First, let's make sure the balance is on. Now it's on. I will open the side door and then place the beaker inside and then close the side door. And then I'm going to zero this. Now I'm going to open the side door of the electronic balance and take out the beaker and get about 10 grams of acetone into the beaker. If you're not sure how much is 10 grams, what you need to do is you just add a small amount and get the mass and say how much it is, and then try to add more. So this is about 1.58 grams of acetone. So we need about 5 more times of the same amount. So let's say if we can do that or not. Oh, it's almost perfect. By the way, we do not need to be exactly 10 grams. If it's about 10% more or 10% less, it still works equally well. Remember, we need to write down the mass immediately in the notebook. If you look at my notebook, I already put down the title of the experiment and the date of the experiment and the lab partner. Since I do not have a lab partner, I put N/A here to indicate I do not have a lab partner. Or I already prepared a table to record my data. The mass of acetone is 9.9834 grams. 9.9834 grams. During an experiment, make sure you have a label on the beaker. Now I'm going to get about 40 grams of water in another beaker. Make sure the reading is 0. Yeah, it is 0. This is a wash bottle. 40 grams of water, about 40 milliliters. Because it doesn't need to be exact, so I just add the water to the beaker directly without using a graduated cylinder. Oh, it's almost perfect. Again, we need to record the mass of water immediately in the notebook. It is 39.9497. 34.949, actually 3 right now. Let's put a label on the beaker. Now let's put the two beakers on the center of the hot plate, side by side. We do not want to put this way. So one in the center, one at the corner, because the hot plate is not homogeneously heating the object. So in this experiment, we assume the heating or the heat received by both beakers are about the same. So we need to put both of them in the center and side by side. Now we are going to start the data collection to record our temperatures. In a lab, it is required not to wear gloves when you touch the instruments. So I'm going to take off my gloves and put my gloves aside. And this is the LabQuest device. If you want to start your data recording, click the button on this corner. It is green arrow. Now it will start to record the temperature readings. We need to record the initial temperature reading for acetone. Let's place the temperature probe into the acetone. As you can see here, the temperature reading will be up and down, but roughly around 21.2 degrees Celsius. So we can consider the temperature of the acetone is pretty stable right now. Then we will take out the temperature probe and place into water. We need a stable temperature for about a minute. Just be patient. The temperature reading of water is pretty stable right now. Now we can move to the next step. Now we need to place the temperature probe into the acetone. You may need to use your hand to hold the temperature probe. And then turn on the hot plate. You can use the maximum heating. Wait until the acetone is boiling. You can see that the acetone is boiling. And look at the LabQuest. We want to get a flat region, and this will be the boiling point of acetone. Make sure the temperature probe doesn't touch the bottom of the beaker. Now you can see that it's pretty flat, and this is long enough. Now we need to transfer the temperature probe into the water. We will stop the temperature recording when we say the acetone is just gone. You can use the temperature probe to stir the water so the temperature will be homogeneous. Just pay attention. The acetone is almost completely gone. No, it's gone. Then stop recording. After we finish the experiment, we need to dispose the waste. Since we only have water, we can dump the water into the sink. Make sure this water may be a little hot, so just be careful. And then the beaker with acetone is already empty, so we just put it back. Make sure the hot plate is off, and we need to unplug that. Let's save a copy of our data into a USB drive. If you look at the LabQuest device, there is a USB connector here. All you need to do is you plug your USB drive into the connector, and then we click File. Make sure you choose Export, and then click this USB icon, and then click here to name your data file. Since I'm the person who did the experiment, so I'm going to put down my last name first, Huang, and this is experiment 4, so I put down EXP4. Then click Done, and then click OK. Then the data file should be in my USB drive. I will unplug. Before you go home, make sure you plug the USB drive into a computer and make sure the file is in the USB drive and it is readable.